Well, welcome. Welcome, Craig. To, you have strength and courage in the tension, or Heinz's word, energy between what we want and where we are is one way to use the energy of Heinz's word. Strength and courage of choices.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention to you guys that I've woken up the last 3 nights in the middle of the night with epiphanies. And I just wonder if anybody kind of shares that experience.
No, I haven't. Before I wake up. I hope that doesn't take away from yours.
No, not at all.
Fantastic. Just has me look at like, oh, what does wake me up? And what do I do when I'm woken up? Where do I automatically go?
Mm. It's a good awareness to have.
Mhm.
Yeah, in my case, it's just a confirmation of increased sensitivity to the energies. And you know how much I appreciate that.
Mhm. Sensitivity to the energies.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, what else is there?
There can be so much information in the energies, the sensitivity to them. And it's something that we have to translate for ourselves, like our own language. While becoming aware of it.
Yeah, whatever meaning you ascribe to it is your own.
And you can easily change it. Sometimes it's not always easy.
You mean to change the meaning?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way, it's kind of like learning to read. Learning to read the energy, and like there's a lot of things it could mean.
Hmm.
Probably why energy comes from transformers, transforming energy. So we are sort of like transformers for the energy.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of new energy in the air. Or maybe not new, just different. But I guess that has with all the planets to do, like Craig says, they are aligning.
Yeah, either you're mastering the energy or the energy's mastering you. But even when you're mastering the energy, you realize that it's a matter of syncing up with it or not.
Like fighting the flow or cooperating with the flow. It will keep flowing no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, because the energy operates in higher dimensions. I know that's not the right words for what I'm trying to say, but
And our meanings can limit and restrict it.
yeah, yeah.
Our definitions, perspectives are automatics.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the thing is too, there's really powerful energies this month. And the thing is your your body especially, but your being is going to have responses to those, whether you understand them or not. You know, and that even comes down to purely physical energies, like things like solar flares, for example. Things like that have an effect on us, and they influence our behaviors, our activity. And that can include our thoughts as well. You know, there's always a choice whether to ride the tsunami or to run for cover.
The definitions play a big part in that.
Yeah, and underlying motivations play an even bigger part.
Mhm. Yeah.
In fact, that's actually tonight's epiphany. In fact, I wrote here, this energy can trigger a fight for freedom or a reaction of anger and violence.
The crazy thing is underlying, we think that the anger and fight will give us that.
Yeah.
Either way, it's just aware of the default. What do I normally do? How do I normally react and respond?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then try and change it and just try something different and see what happens. It's just different.
Anger and fight, it's often much more based on personal beliefs, where the other is united belief.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in one way, the freedom could be beneficial, and um, the violence seldom is. But the whole thing about the aggression is kind of another layer to that. So
Good
we
morning,
can
Allison.
justify our aggression by by a beneficial end result, right? Which is not necessarily helpful either. Good morning, Allison.
Good morning, Allison.
Morning, Allison. We're in the strength of choices, the energies, and the synchronicities.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize my mic was off. Did you guys hear me?
Nope.
something else came up for me now, just in terms of what has been said as I was coming in, and what I woke up with. And I thought empathy is really the bridge that we have as humans. Because our worlds that we live in, we're kind of limited in our capacity to take in more than what we have to contend with, or more than what we're given to work with. And so that becomes our normal. And part of what's important really in the world is being able to also take in the worlds of other people, not necessarily to the extent that we have to live like them or like each other, but we need empathy for the point of connection, for collaboration. Because I was just thinking, about how limited, in a way, we are. And what we have in our day, at the same time, what else is happening in the world for anybody else in their day. And when you think about war and human trafficking and child soldiers, it all seems quite overwhelming. And how on earth do we ever get anything there? The other thing that comes up for me just in thinking further about this was recognition, because we can't have empathy necessarily for the earth. It's not the right terminology. I think people feel enormous empathy for nature, certainly for animals, but when we're talking about inanimate things like ground and trees and plants, so the capacity to recognize that the earth is the only home that we've got as humans. And even when I'm sitting working with people in my sessions, part of what I have to be able to do is to recognize where they're at in the model that I hold in my head. And part of that, a very large part of that now is, so if they're spinning and in a problem-solving structure, it's a good thing if I can recognize that and point that out, and then together with them work out how do they switch from that to a creative structure. So that's a bit of a new word for me, is recognizing. It's not new in terms of using it, but it's new awareness of the value of it.
Thank you. Thank you, Alison. It was giving me new perspective, and yeah, I'm still stretching my mind on the word empathy. Because I'm thinking that, we have to feel empathy for people who don't have empathy. Because, but it's like the lack of empathy is caused by the lack of capacity or in the capacity. Or, it's a difficult one. Yeah. I'm trying to understand why people don't have empathy. And then, yeah. It can only be coming from the lack in the capacity of putting oneself in another.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it is that. And it's interesting, gee, how difficult it is for us sometimes to wrap our heads around that.
Yeah.
Because we see another human being in front of us, so why isn't empathy part of their working system in the way that it is for ours? And especially when
we look at the destruction that their lack of empathy causes in the world.
Mm. So much harm and suffering and pain.
Mm-hmm. And closing the door to any progressive expansion of human nature. Because then all the energy gets drawn and focused to fighting for freedom.
Some people have been hurt so much that they don't have no empathy left. You know, what makes what makes a person, a mother, hate her own kid? You know, I want to do them harm, or I don't understand.
It's a very difficult thing to understand. And also when you think of it, what makes a president of a country be okay with sending 18-year-olds to war?
Yeah. When in society, if you commit, crime, hurting another person or killing, you get put in prison. But a president can send someone to kill millions of people, and he will, he get medals.
Empathy is like everything else. If you ain't taught it, they don't teach us it in school, and if you don't learn it from home, where are you gonna learn it from?
Yeah.
That's why the law can't be the last word. Because apparently you can use law to justify anything.
Yeah, when it's not natural law.
So the real skill is to be able to recognize all of these situations and still find a way and strategize what it is that you want to do in your orbit, as I call it. What do you want to do in the world? It really keeping awareness of what the whole world consists of. I think it's so important. Oh, I've just had a hawk fly right past my window. That was so beautiful.
Which bird? A hawk?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're so beautiful. I mean, I get sad when I see them because I know they go for the smaller birds and things, but they are so beautiful. And to do that here in my backyard is quite an art because I've got very big trees. He's got to fly very precisely.
The phrase fight to be right.
Mm.
When I think about empathy, like why don't we have that? Why is that missing?
Mm.
And so it's like could be many times or appears to be that we will fight to be right. So I will fight so that I'm right.
Mm.
So we are holding our ground so that we can't, so that we're not wrong. So we're not allowing a mistake.
Or the implications of that mistake, or what we imagine the implications to be.
Mhm.
Right?
Deep down. Like we
Mm.
can't acknowledge that we're failing. Let's say, I'm not going to say it's specific, right, to you, Chi, but I'm going to talk about a mother that hates her kids. I don't know that that's, yes, there's cases, but there could be something else.
It's a pattern too.
Yes, so much the
Because
pattern.
yeah.
And what that mother saw as a child growing up
Mhm.
Exactly.
from her
Exactly.
family.
Exactly. It's a generational pattern.
Yeah. All around safety and security and control. Now they're just our interpretations of it.
Yeah, that's why with the mindset of fight to be right, you're ending up doing harm, doing wrong.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, we're in our pattern. All we see is the pattern that we saw work from our perspective growing up as a child.
Mm. It's a norm.
Yeah,
When
there you go.
when you see something you see as a child and growing up, in that environment, it becomes normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. Because we never saw anything else work, or like once we see it, we latch on to that's the way that it is
Right.
Mm.
Right.
without any idea there's another way, another possibility, or like another way to see it. And so as adults, we're trapped in these childish patterns.
Yep. Childish. Exactly. Like the mind is stuck somewhere in the childhood still.
Mm-hmm. In the wounding of that child, you bet, always.
So true.
Reconnecting to that inner child is so key
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
inner child can come on the journey as an adult with the
Absolutely.
adult.
Absolutely. We have to go back and nurture the inner child.
Mm-hmm.
To create the perfect kindergarten in our own head.
Yeah. Move it past kindergarten.
Mm.
Wherever we're stuck with whatever the trauma we're stuck in. It's like just to give that inner child. Well, so often I find it's the adult self introduces themselves to the inner child, gives the inner child a hug, and invites the inner child
Yeah.
along for the journey.
Yeah. Because as an adult, we have this capacity of going back and heal and
Yep.
take care and nurture.
Yes.
Wow, thank you. So beautiful said, so well said. Thank you.
Mhm.
Mm.
It's not easy to help someone who don't want to get help.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
I tried in so many ways.
And without the empathy, you're given free range for the ego to just grow and grow.
Mm. I hadn't thought of it like that. That's true, Hans.
Empathy is a choice, huh? It's like in the word, it's a past. Empath.
Mm.
Maybe it's because in the society, it's seen like a sign of weakness, to be an empath. Like in the prison, like many environments.
It would be when there's a high concentration of ego energy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can see that. Like in my wife's family, she's the youngest of, I think, 8 or 9. When one ego is bigger than the other, she was the last one, and
Mm.
had to take it from all of them.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so sorry to hear, Chi.
No, but there's a lessons in disguise, no challenges.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, thank you, Alison. It means a lot what you said.
You're welcome.
Yeah, especially in this time when everything is so difficult. To find out where how to take care of myself and my kids.
Mm. It's very important to be able to take care of the kids, right?
But they're big now. My youngest is turned 13 today,
Mm.
and they start to see everything clearer.
Mm. As long as they know that they have you to come to, right? It's really important. Makes a massive big difference. Sounds like your wife didn't have her parents to go to.
Exactly. There's
Mm.
because the siblings were left to take care of each other.
Mm.
Mm,
It often
very early
happens
on.
in a big family.
Yeah. Because the mother was a tyrant, who was bossing them. They were her slaves.
Mm.
So very early, the kids were left to take care of each other. He was so brutal in many ways. And when she went out for shopping, she used to chain them up and lock them up, with chains, to the pole in the middle of the house, and like they were animals.
And one can only wonder then what she had encountered in her life, hey, Chi?
Yeah, she went through the same
Mm-hmm.
shit. She had, so. Yeah, I will do everything for my kids to break the cycle of this
Mm.
social inheritance,
Mm.
just by being there for them, loving them,
Mm-hmm.
nurturing them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know that they always can come to me.
Mm.
Yeah. Because our oldest, he moved out last year, and then he don't even want to speak with his mother. So.
Mm.
I'm so grateful for having these meetings, for having this group. And it's invaluable. Means so much to me.
The power of being together.
Yeah, exactly. Whether you're building a house or building a group or
Mm.
whatever, when you're, yeah.
Mm.
Empathy is sharing with others. Ego is just doing it your way.
Mm.
So this is what all people with empathy need, is somebody to talk to.
Right.
And the experience of collaboration, hey Hans,
Yeah.
that experience of building something.
Having co-creators within one's life.
Yeah. You know, I was listening to how Jesse was unpacking what it must be like. Or I can't even put the word actually to it, but he was unpacking Chi's wondering about how do we, you know, what are the steps that build towards a lack of empathy. And in Chi's question, Jesse brought in an unpacking, and in that unpacking, there was something that started to build for Chi, started to reconnect internally. And that, for me, that's collaboration. And that gives a sense of it's a sense of movement. I think that, and that movement gives an a beginning of an experience of expansion. And it's interesting because, you know, if I go back to war and I think about, you know, how often it's built from a model of scarcity. So the aim of it is to gain more. But it's not an expansion. Because it's more of having external, whereas real expansion is experiencing internally.
Yeah, it's more like an accumulation instead of an expansion.
Thank you, Craig. That's right.
The people on the opposite sides are only wrong according to those on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. So it's all about perspective in the end.
Mm-hmm. As my one client said at the end of the session the other day, Hans, she pointed to her head and said, "Isn't it funny? It's all in definition, isn't it?" It was such a wonderful way to end the session. I'm so lucky with my clients. Oh my God, they give me so much.
Well, it's people with empathy, because if they didn't have empathy and only were an ego, they wouldn't need a psychologist. They're always right.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's one place, right?
Yeah. They only have their one way of looking at everything. And they want to change the world, but they don't want to change themselves.
Mm.
or put in other word, they only want to have, they don't want to be. So they will never have enough,
Yeah,
no,
that's
no
right.
matter how much they have. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good reminder for ourselves. Hey, Chi.
Mm.
What do we want to be?
Yep.
Thank you again for a really good start to my day. I really appreciate it so much. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a blessed day, Alison.
Thank you so
Bye.
much, Alison. Yeah.
Bye.
Love you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go too, boys. See if I can catch a few more winks.
Have a blessed day, great. Love and hugs.
Yeah, will do. Love and hugs.
Thank you, Greg. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I have to go to the lawyer's office.
Yeah, you have a good
Yeah.
talk with him.
Advice. Yeah. Thank you.
Take care. Love and hugs.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Heinz.
Well, Jesse, I'll be going too, so you can turn it off. You have a blessed day. Bye, Jesse.
Bye, Heinz.